All right, let's bring this all now together for you. As we looked at 18 different ways to create more abundance in your life, I'm going to now first of all reflect on all of those, and we're going to weigh them by 4 different criteria. So first criteria is it scalable? Yes or no. So it's easy, it's either black or white. It's yes or no. Second criteria, is it duplicatable? Can you easily do it again? That's the second one. Another yes or no answer to it. Next one, is it recurring revenue and income? That's another beautiful way on how to look at it. And the fourth criterion is, has it little capital as a requirement? Because sometimes, if you, for example, look at property, you need a lot of money to be able to buy it. If, for example, you buy stocks and shares instead, you need less cash. You get the gist. So has it got little capital as a requirement built into it, yes or no? Those are the 4 criteria: scalable, duplicatable, recurring, and little capital required. Now, you can imagine now what we're going to do is we're going to weigh all of those 18 different ways on how to build more abundance in your life, and we're going to weigh them against those 4 criteria. And basically, for every successful criterion that is met, we're going to allocate 1 point towards the way that we spoke about. So for example, let's start with the easy one, having a job. A job only has one thing met. It requires little capital. That is good, but it's not easily duplicatable, because if you want another job, you're basically sacrificing on your personal time and your work-life balance. So that is not duplicatable. Also, it's not scalable, and it's definitely not recurring in the sense that passive wise, you got to actively work for the money, and only then you will keep earning money. So it's not recurring from a passive perspective. So jobs only get 1 point. The second one then is we looked at one-to-one consulting, and there again it's very similar. Thank you very much, Tsuksuma. The consulting, because you still do one-to-one, you're still very much caught in a place where you're trading time for money. So now, instead of having one boss, you might have several bosses. And the difference though is you got to keep selling yourself to the next opportunity to be able to be paid, which makes it a bit more complicated for some people, especially if you don't know how to sell yourself. So consulting, only 1 point as well. Same also with one-to-one coaching. Because it's one-to-one, it's not duplicatable, it's not scalable, it's also not recurring in a passive sense. All the requirements it meets is that there's no or little capital required to get started with it. So 1 point only for coaching. Next then is hiring out other people. So as you have built a team around you, and you basically let them do the working for you, and they starting to do plastering for you, or start building houses for you, or roll out services for you. This is all hiring out other people, which now it is duplicatable. There's also it's also potentially recurring because they are doing the work. You don't necessarily have to do it. So now you got 2 points, but it's not highly scalable, and there's definitely also more capital required. So only 2 points for hiring out other people. So it's still not a great way from my perspective if you just look at the number of points that it gets. The next one then is training. Training now we allocate 3 points to, because with training you don't need a lot of capital to do it. 2 is also it's very easily scalable and duplicatable. But it's not passive yet. So it's only 3 out of 4 points for training. That's already one that I personally like for this reason, because there's more leverage built into training, as you might have seen from the previous video. Next one then is group coaching, not individual coaching, group coaching. This one also has 3 points for the same reasons. Now you've got more scalability. 2, you've got more duplicatability. And also you have little capital requirements to be able to do it. So 3 points, but not 4. Next one then in line is what we talked about as experiences. The Edge Retreat for us is not necessarily a huge profit builder, not a huge success in a way you could say, if I'm looking at purely from the numbers perspective. So that means it's not necessarily going to be recurring, no, because I have to still rock up to do it. It's, There is a lot more money required to be able to do it. That's another one. So again, it doesn't get a point there. But all it gets really, it's duplicatable. You can run one and another and another and another, so that you could easily do throughout the year, but it requires a lot of hard work because you got to sell it every time, and once it's done, there's no recurring. So 1 point only for experiences. Next in line then is products. Now we're ramping up again. Products gives you 3 points. 3 points, of course. Why? Because with products, you can easily duplicate it, because if you create one product, you can easily then have more people do it. You can also create more products for people to buy. So whether it's a knowledge product like training or coaching or consulting, all of that, that could be a product. But it also could be just a t-shirt, a hat, a hoodie. It could be weights or grip, whatever, strength trainers and whatever. All these fitness products that some of our clients also sell. Books, whatever, it could be anything. But products, 3 points, because now it's scalable, it's duplicatable, and it's little capital required as well. Next in line is courses. Once again, 3 points as well, because courses you can set and forget. You can create them, you can put them up online, you can put them in a learning management system or another software that allows you to facilitate it and grow it. And guess what? It's duplicatable, it's scalable, and there's little capital requirements required to be able to do it. So anyone basically can create courses. Next in line is software as a service. Once again, as I said in the previous video, it's not necessarily your software. You don't have to hire multiple engineers and programmers and the likes to create your own. This is also just as good if you basically find a software that somebody else makes and you become a referral partner or a reseller of that software. That is equally good, right? In fact, it's sometimes even better because you don't have the hassle of having to create it, maintain it, hire people, manage people, all of that sort of stuff in that particular business at all. All you got to do is to help other people that have a need that the software can fix, help them to take it on board and help them really get great value from it so that they can stay on long enough. And that way, now you got suddenly, you got scalability baked in. You got recurring business potentially and income baked in, and you also have little capital requirements, right? Now, the only downside probably where it doesn't get 4 points is that it's not easily duplicatable. You're not going to find a lot of softwares that you can become a great referral partner of, unless you kind of found a way that I haven't found yet. So I personally only recommend 2, 3 maybe softwares, and really to get good traction with either one of them, you got to become more of a specialist in one of them rather than try to do everything simultaneously. That's at least my experience. Again, yours might be different. Let's now move on to the next one. Advertising and sponsorships, 3 points. Why? Because little capital required, duplicatable and scalable. However, no recurring. Yeah? Advertising and sponsorships tends to start and end in a specific time frame. Again, there's exceptions to it, but if it's short term, then it doesn't meet all 4 criteria. Next one is rent. Another one that scores 3 points. Why? Because yes, you need a lot more capital, which is why you don't have the 4th point, but it is easy, it's recurring. If you rent on Airbnb or you rent long-term or you rent, things like hotel rooms and motel rooms, you see that suddenly you have always money coming in, as long as if it's in a desirable place and you have a property manager looking after it. It's duplicatable and also highly scalable. So rent gets 3 points. Next one is affiliate commissions. This one gets all 4 points. Affiliate commissions meet all of the criteria because you don't have to create the product or the service that you recommend, and all you do is recommend it and then get paid. It also is recurring, so for as long as people use the product or the service and keep paying for it, you get paid back. And it's easily measurable because typically there's portals for it and dashboards that show you that all in full transparency. You also have highly scalability with it and duplicatable built in. So it meets all 4 criteria. So I love affiliate comms, which is one of the first now that we spoke about that has all 4 criteria met. The next one that also meets all 4 is memberships. I love memberships. We already have 2 memberships going, a third one launching soon, and there is still room down the track at the right time to launch a 4th membership. But memberships is great to have, as long as you get it down packed and you don't launch too many of them simultaneously. It's another great way to create abundance in your life. And by the way, these memberships, often if you do it like we have in our business, you can run them from anywhere. So Alan and I, for Diamond membership, we can do it from anywhere in the world, because we only get together with our members for an hour or an hour and a half max each time. So we can schedule the blocks where the members come together in line with the vacation and holidays that we've already planned in certain time zones, and make sure that the time zones align, and therefore we get to enjoy ourselves, work a little bit, add a lot of value to our clients, and keep, let's say, everything going as well. Another great way to do it. So we love a lifestyle business that gives us the things we want while also adding the value back to our clients. Next in line is another one that has 4 points all met, which is franchising and licensing. You can duplicate, you can scale, it's recurring, and it's also it is actually a little bit more capital required potentially, but not necessarily. I've seen certain businesses where the capital investment for a franchise is mainly in a few products and legal fees. And you could get started for maybe 20 grand or something. So it's not hugely expensive, contrary to, for example, starting a hospitality business where just the fit out will cost you $250,000 or $500,000 with everything included. So very different sort of ball game. Next in line is then interest on exchange traded funds and shares or stocks. They also meet all 4. Why? Because scalable, duplicatable, recurring, and little capital required as well. You can get started with shares and ETFs for as little as $30 or sometimes even less. So it's not huge costs. Obviously, you need more of them. You need volume to be able to get a certain income. You get that. But the entry point is easy. In fact, my 10-year-old, Liam, he's already invested all of his money in exchange traded funds, which I helped him to select. And he's already getting great returns on that, which means he's already making money asleep while he's holidaying and while he's going to school. And he's basically seeing his money grow for him at the rate much higher than what a bank would give him in interest in a savings account. We're talking double digits, and serious double digits, that our little Liam is already making at the age of 10. And so can you. So interest on ETFs is a great way, again, to look for ways to create more income. Again, even your financial advisor, your financial planner might help you select certain stocks and shares, and even allocate that in your super fund and the likes, or even a self-managed super fund. All of those sorts of things are available to you. Obviously, seek expert advice whenever you do these things, because you don't want to fly in blind and put your money in the wrong bucket, so to speak. Next in line, and we're almost there, is director's dividends. This one I only would give 2 points to. Why? Because it can be, let's say, it's not easily duplicatable. You're not going to do it very often unless you're Richard Branson or Elon Musk. I haven't seen many people, create different businesses that are completely self-managed on their own and then be able to get an income from it, without doing too much for it. But yes, if you do get it right, you can do it. So it could be duplicatable. And yes, it is also scalable, that sense as well. Last but not least then is capital gains upon sale. As already said, I'm not a huge fan of it unless you're in the business or in the game of keep doing it over and again. So you keep buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. That way you can make it work. But if you're just, for example, have one property, and by the time you let's say the kids have left home and you sell the big home with a big garden and everything, and it's too big for you and your partner to look after it in retirement, then you sell let's say the family home and you go somewhere else. Well, that is basically just your own home that you sacrifice to buy something else, and it's not necessarily going to give you a huge windfall, and definitely not in perpetuity. So it's not the smartest thing to do unless, again, you make it your game and you keep buying and selling properties because that's just what you keep doing. All right? Then you could have more. But other than that, it's just a one, right? It's just a once-off windfall that you're going to create, unless again you go bigger. So that basically was it. This was a little series that are now wrapping up 18 different ways to create abundance in your life. And I hope you got some value out of it. Let us know your thoughts and questions below this video, or any of the other videos for that matter. And I appreciate you watching. I look forward to seeing you more, and I look forward to helping you out along the way in any of our programs, whether courses, coaching programs, memberships, or even software, so that we can help you create more abundance. This was the how-to, or the what to do. Next time, we obviously can dive deeper and help you apply it in a meaningful way for you. My name is Bram. Thank you for sharing. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet.